Now, gunfire and explosions were reported near the presidential palace in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. This is according to local media and social media footage that has not been independently verified just yet. Videos shared online appear to show armed men with heavy weapons and military convoys deployed around Miraflores Palace. The footage showed security forces patrolling streets near the palace as residents appeared to seek cover. According to local outlets, the gunfire occurred at around 8 p.m. local time after reports of unidentified drones circling the palace, adding to confusion as authorities had yet to brief the public on the situation. There were no immediate reports of injuries or fatalities, and no official statements had been issued regarding damage or arrests. Now, geopolitical analyst Tabayang Echu joins us from Washington, D.C. for more on this developing story. Thank you, Tabayang, for joining us. Now, overnight, residents near the Miraflores presidential palace reported hearing gunfire. Can you walk us through exactly what happened, where this could be leading it, especially with Maduro already arraigned?
Thank you for having me this morning. This has quickly become a very layered situation, from the federal charges to oil pegs to the future of our leadership in Venezuela. And you can see the repercussions with the supposed incident in Caracas. That is going to be very difficult, and it is still a little bit foggy with what is going on. But the situation is just going to deteriorate if care is not taken. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about Saturday's attack on the South American country. And it is very difficult to separate one motive and say this is it, and there was nothing else involved. It certainly wasn't just drugs based on the pronouncement of President Trump so far. And you are beginning to see, was it a regime change? But if that was the case, the entire Maduro cabinet is still, and the entire government machinery is still in place. Even elements of the former President Chavez, who were carried over by the Maduro government, are still intact. So what exactly is happening there is, at this time, very difficult for the most fervent observers of the political space in Venezuela could assess. So it's very, very difficult.
So Venezuelan authorities say that police were firing at drones, flying without permission, and that no confrontation occurred. Yet we hear of confusion and gunfire between different security units. Shouldn't we even be more worried by this?
Exactly. I think that is a complex and complicated situation that the country and the entire region, which is, on edge at this time, given the uncertainty. So there's a lot of worry, because any person who is going to be at the helm of that country, at the supreme magistracy of that country, with the influence of the U.S., is going to be considered a puppet. And you're going to have elements within South America that are uncomfortable with that, even within Venezuela. I think even the people who voted for the opposition candidate did not vote for Washington, D.C. to impose their puppet leader or run from Washington, D.C. So you're going to see a lot of that internal division within the political elites, within the military, and you would not be surprised that maybe Washington will be forced to go in again. But for how long are they going to do that?
Now, Caracas insists that the entire country is completely calm and that the paramilitary groups also say the situation is under control. But all the neighbors have sent soldiers to their borders. Do you see things escalating?
It's still too early to tell. What the neighbors are doing is to stave off any mass flow of Venezuelan citizens across the border. Could there be a spillover in their own country? So I think they are just taking preemptive measures to make sure that whatever is happening in there should not flow over to their own countries. But there is just no way it would not pass the smell of test for anybody to say there is some level of stability in that country. Just the amount of uncertainty is palpable. So it's very difficult for anybody to assume, pronounce that there is calm, because you have so many moving factors and actors right on the ground at this time.
So all of these unfolded just after the ouster of President Maduro, with Washington now saying it's closely tracking the reports of gunfire, but insists that the U.S. is not involved. However, Trump says he would run Venezuela. How soon do you see that chapter opening?
Are they already doing that? Because if you see the vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, initially came out strong, swinging and indicating that Maduro is still the legally and legitimate president of Venezuela. And when Trump came out and said she should be careful or she's going to pay a much more steeper price than Maduro, she came out and said, oh, the Venezuelan government would want to work with the U.S. government to foster development in both countries. That would tell you that hawkish elements in Venezuela would not agree with a puppet leader. And like I said, for how long is the U.S. going to provide the administrative control of Venezuela? I think the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, came out and said, oh, they're going to try to influence policy with a blockade of drug or oil shipments out of the country. But again, if you stifle the economy of the country, would the U.S. be responsible in providing succor to the Venezuelan people? Those are questions that needs to be answered. As of now, there are no easy answers. And it is a mess already after day 4. And it is already proving it would probably be very, very expensive and complicated, not only in Venezuela, but in the American court system and the court of public opinion, because Maduro is already claiming that he's a war prisoner and he was kidnapped. That comes along with a lot of complex legal issues. And you can see even here in US that lawyers disagree extensively on whether this was legal or not.
All right, before we let you go, I'd like to find out, are you satisfied with the response of the Global South so far regarding this conflict?
It's hard to really hold the Global South. What are we expecting to come from the Global South? They are immobilized because of their inability to muster any kind of muscle against the U.S., whether financially, economically, or politically. So it's been searing from some quarters, China, Russia, the usual suspects, maybe from even the AU. But it's difficult when you are a toothless bulldog to try to stand up to somehow, some may say, a bully in the statue of the U.S. Government. So it's very difficult. I think at the end of the day, whatever is going to happen, it is imperative that the Venezuelan people should be at the center of deciding their own future, not foreign governments and foreign capitals.
All right. Thank you so much for lending your time to this cause and, of course, giving us your view on this. We'll see how this turns out.